we have developed an IVD for promoting a prognosis of progression from MCI patients to Alzheimer's disease dementia.
Welcome to Startup Health TV, where we celebrate the entrepreneurs and innovators who are transforming health. I'm Logan Plaster with Marta Barrachina from Admit, and we're at AAIC. How's the conference going for you so far?
It's fine. So we are enjoying the conference, and it's a good opportunity for us to promote awareness of our technology.
Okay, so you're located in Barcelona,
Yeah.
and you're doing this really interesting work in the early detection of Alzheimer's?
Yeah.
Or is it the prediction of Alzheimer's?
Well, in our case, it's the prediction. We
prediction.
have developed an IVD for promoting a prognosis of progression from MCI patients to Alzheimer's disease dementia.
Which is an important distinction, because you're not saying we see it now,
Yeah.
you're saying years from now,
Yeah.
you are likely to get it,
Yeah.
which is important.
It's
so
important.
Why is prediction important? Obviously detection is also important, and seeing the plaque forming in the brain, but why is prediction important?
It's important because then the neurologist can manage better the patient, and he can decide if a preventive therapy can be applied to that patient.
Okay. So in other words, not only for the patient's sake, but also for the clinical trial,
Of course.
the research. So talk to me about how it kind of changes the clinical trial landscape to have prediction so early. And how many years early could you potentially predict?
Our data is we have developed our IVD with patients with a progression between 1 and 14 years. So
Wow, okay.
yeah, and also obviously it's very important our tool to improve the patient stratification for optimizing clinical trials.
Okay.
With the aim to facilitate pharmaceutical companies to boost in the discovery of new therapeutic drugs.
Why is it important? So a lot of talk at AAIC about amyloid and tau. I'm not a scientist, but these are sort of accepted ways of detecting and identifying Alzheimer's. But you take a cellular approach, the action in the mitochondria of the cell,
Yeah.
right? Why is it important to have an alternative approach to detecting Alzheimer's?
Well, 20 years ago, it was described that mitochondria is one of the first events that occurs.
Something happens in the mitochondria of the cell
and then
before anything else happens.
Yeah, and then it triggers the accumulation of beta amyloid and tau. Obviously, we think that the combination of technologies like ours plus the combination of biomarkers like beta amyloid and tau are the future in the clinical practice. So we are not trying to displace anyone in the field. It's just to collaborate. Yeah.
Okay, which is just part of the theme that we're seeing here with the startup health community. The multifaceted. We've got voice biomarkers. We've got retinal biomarkers. So now you're talking about multiple, cellular, epigenetic biomarkers, blood-based. If you look out 5 years, how do you see these things possibly playing together?
I think that they are going to success because at the end, the community needs to work together in order to combine all technologies in order to promote available tools for patients.
You are going to work largely with pharmaceutical companies, I think, to help them speed up clinical trials. Yeah. How do you make sure, maybe this is a little bit of a wild card question, how do you make sure that you're not just helping the pharmaceutical company, but you're really kind of eventually it's working its way towards patients? I know you care about patient care and not just the industry of clinical trials.
Yeah, well, in this sense, we have two business models. One of them is obviously to provide our tool for pharmaceutical companies. Mm-hmm. But once more drugs reach the clinical practice, we also aim to provide our tool to the memory units.
Okay.
So patients directly will be benefited with this the prognostic tool.
How can normal patients use this as a prognostic tool? Is it a blood test?
It's a blood test.
Blood draw? A
blood draw, and then in the laboratory, we perform a DNA sequence analysis, and then we incorporate clinical data, which is non-invasive clinical data. It's from neurological tests. Also, we include the age and the genotype ApoE, and then we are able to provide the prognostic report.
How far out are you from that reality of having a prognostic test for normal folks?
We are under the regulatory agency's approval, so it depends on their evaluation. So we anticipate that at least in in 1.5 to 2 years, we anticipate to have this tool available.
And just remind me what some of the advantages would be over this prognostic tool for a patient over the current standard of care.
We have, in our IBD, our product has been performed using machine learning techniques, and we have trained it also with MCI patients with a negative beta-amyloid PET scan at the baseline
visit. Break that down for me.
So it means these patients that currently they are considered that they are not going to progress to Alzheimer's disease, but some of them obviously progress, and we have trained our product with this type of patients, so we are widening the spectrum of patients that can be, I mean that they can use our technology.
Okay, whereas traditional therapies would focus on folks that you kind of knew were going to progress?
Yeah.
Okay, so a more narrow focus.
Well, we narrow also in patients that with the current techniques, they are considered that they are not going to progress to Alzheimer's disease dementia. And a subset of these patients progress, they do the progression, and we identify them with our technology. That's why we consider that we are going to complement and to increase the efficacy of phospho-tau and beta-amyloid prediction.
Okay, so it's also more effective. What about in terms of just the ease of use? I know some folks have to get like a lumbar puncture or go in for an MRI to get diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
You mean the age of the patients?
Yeah, or just the ease. You know, is it easier to do this kind of test?
Yeah, it's just a blood test, and that it's obviously prescribed by the neurologist, and you have the results in 1 week.
Does it have to be done by a neurologist, or does this also open up sort of access to who can do it?
No, it's only for professional use, healthcare use.
Yeah, of course.
No, and the range of patients that will benefit with this tool are between 55 and 85 years.
Okay. You're building this company in Barcelona.
Yeah.
What's the culture around health innovation and Alzheimer's in Barcelona?
Well, it's a new field there. Obviously, we have several academic groups focused in this pathology, but we are one of the very few companies in the whole country that are focused on Alzheimer's disease. And we are really grateful to the ADDF that are one of the first investors that trust in our technology. And obviously, we are very grateful to the startup health community to be part of this new initiative.
What are you most looking forward to? What should we be looking forward to from Admit over the next 12 months?
Dealing with the regulatory
the regulators.
With the regulators.
You have the innovation. Now it's a matter of the regulators approving it. And bringing it to the world.
Yeah, and obviously also to increase our clinical validation, to get access to blood samples from biobanks. And at the same time, we are developing a new diagnostic tool for other neurodegenerative disease. So we want to become a company leader in the aging diagnostic.
Awesome. Marta, thank you for taking time with me.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best with Admit.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.